Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're back in a video where we're going to be showcasing 5 quality of life Minecraft mods. These mods are for Minecraft 1.20.1 and I think they do work in other 1.20 versions, but that is the main version that I'm testing them in and showcasing them in. They will also be linked in the description in the order that I showcase them. So let's jump straight to the first one. Now just to quickly clarify, these aren't going to be anything that are massive. They're not going to add any big massive like dimensions or anything. They're just going to add little tiny details that might make the game a little bit better. So the first one we're going to showcase is loot beams, and this basically adds beams to loot that is on the floor. Now it won't add it to normal items that have a grey name. If I throw these on the floor, as you can see, there is no loot beam, although it does show you what the actual item name is. And if you crouch, it will show you the code name with also the name, which is really cool. But if you throw an item that has a coloured name, as you can see, music discs, totems, and golden apples, or enchanted golden apples are some of them. As you can see, it makes a sound and a loot beam is sent up into the sky, which I think is really cool because if, for example, a creeper blows up your chest, you can see if there's any valuable items within the pile just by looking to see if there is a loot beam there. Now this mod can also be customized within configs to change some of the settings, but I really like how the loot beams actually work, and I do also really like the name, so you can like kind of see what is within the pile. But the loot beams look really cool. And the actual colour depends on the colour of the actual name. As you can see, the totem has, if I quickly just pick up the enchanted golden apples, the totem has a yellow name. So the loot beam is yellow. If we throw the blue music disc, as you can see, the loot beam is blue. So for example, something like this, where it comes really useful, you can see that I have just a pile of items right there. If I walk up closely, you can see the loot beam does then go into the sky, showing that you do have something of value right there, which then you can try and obviously pick it up because the loot beam does also show roughly where it is in the pile. Now what makes this mod even cooler is the amount of customizations it has within the configs. As you can see, I've opened up the configs right here, and you can actually change the render distance of the actual beam, so how close the player has to be to see the beam. But also, as you can see, there is radius of loot beams as well, and there is quite a lot of customizations you can have to them. I have the default settings. I haven't actually changed any of these, but you can go through and mess with them and adjust them to make it so it's more customized to how you like it. And you can also customize sounds. So if the sounds should play when you drop them, the volume of the sounds, and also if the sounds should only be played on equipment. Now the second mod we are going to cover is one that makes spyglasses a little bit more useful. Now, it doesn't actually change anything about the spyglass, apart from you actually have a new slot within your inventory, as you can see right here. Now, this one does require another mod, which you can find on its CurseForge page, but it just makes them a lot easier because you can actually put the spyglass within that actual slot right there. And then one, it removes it from your inventory, so you don't have to actually waste an inventory slot. But the second thing is, you can actually zoom with it. You don't need to then bring it into your actual hand. As you can see, I'm clicking a key. The key can also be set with the controls, keybinds, and if we scroll down, you will see that there is actually a slot right here where you can set the spyglass. And by default, it is set to C, which you can obviously change that to a different key if you would like. But it just makes it a lot easier because one, it doesn't use an inventory slot, and two, you don't need to hold it in your hand when you want to use it. So if you want to use it for a split second to look at something, you don't have to get it out of your inventory or switch to the slot it is in. I thought it was worth showing because anything that removes items from your inventory is a good mod, because obviously the inventory is not something that you have room for to carry everything within the game. So now let's showcase the third mod, and this mod actually is really useful to me. For someone who always has items within a certain slot, I always carry my sword within the first inventory slot. So if you actually hold, by default it is C, but once again you can actually change this within your keybinds. As you can see, item locks, the toggle hold is C. So by holding C and then left clicking, as you can see, it's actually locked that slot, which means now I can't remove the sword from this slot. As you can see, it is stuck there. You can easily unlock it by holding C and then left clicking again, and as you can see, I can now move the sword. But another actual good use that this has, for example, if you are at a farm, like an Enderman farm, where you don't want to throw away certain items within your inventory, but your inventory is getting cluttered up with ender pearls, you can lock the slots, meaning that the items won't actually be removed. So now if I try and queue this, I am clicking Q to obviously get rid of the item out of my inventory. And as you can see, the sword isn't actually going anywhere because it is locked. So this is extremely good if you're throwing things into the void and you don't want certain items to be removed, because they cannot come out of your inventory at all until you actually unlock them. Now, one test we are going to have to do, I currently have keep inventory off. So do you lose the items if you actually die? I think you will, but we are going to test it. And yeah, as you can see, my items are now actually removed and the padlock has been unlocked. But I really do like this mod, and it's so useful when messing with lava or the void or anything like that, where if you lose an item, there is no way of getting it back. The fourth mod we are actually going to showcase is this one right here. This one allows you to actually claim chunks. So if you are within a world of multiplayer and you don't want people coming into places you have built and destroying things or anything like that, as you can see, this block can actually be placed down. And once you place it down, it will claim the chunk. So if I quickly just open up chunk borders, as you can see, I've placed it on the edge of the chunk. So I have claimed this chunk right here. And if you actually click on the block, as you can see, you can also enter things right here. And there is more detail on what you can enter in these on the actual CurseForge page. But I think this is, if you enter like Minecraft usernames, it will then allow people to build within the chunk as well as you. Most actual claim mods are things that you have to do it for free. This one, you have to at least craft the block, and as soon as you actually break the block, as you can see, you instantly unclaim the chunk. The block needs to be placed down at all times for that chunk to be claimed. And to obviously unclaim a chunk, it's a lot easier than most mods because you just have to break it. I have just given myself the recipe for it, so if we quickly just look, that is the recipe. It's not that expensive, but it still requires you to actually go out into the world and hunt for it. 8 redstone and then any Minecraft sign. And just like the actual loot beams mod, this does have a config. You can customize quite a lot within this, not as much as the loot beams, but as you can see, there are quite a lot of customizations. So you can customize the owner name to see messages, mob explosions. Also, explosions caused by any player can destroy blocks, which is by default false. So if someone comes into your chunk and places, for example, like TNT, it won't actually do any damage, which is good if you don't want griefing. You can also choose the maximum chunks per player. So if you want to limit, for example, on a server, how many chunks a player can claim, so someone can't go around claiming every single chunk. And then the fifth mod we are going to showcase makes breeding animals a little bit easier and more AFKable. So it adds this new block, which if we quickly just get the crafting recipe for, as you can see, this is the recipe. It requires 5 of any wooden slabs, and it gives you 1 of the blocks. Now the block, as you can see, looks like this. It looks like just a smaller composter. And this has an inventory, which you can actually open. You can now put some food in here for whatever mobs you want to breed. For example, let's put wheat. I've also headed over to this village where there are some cows. So let's quickly go place this right down. Let's then put the wheat inside of there. And as you can see, it should breed up these actual mobs. Yes, there we go. As you can see, there are actually some hearts. They looked at the block and now, as you can see, they are breeding. And you can actually fence these in to make it so it's fully AFK. You don't have to come and breed them yourself. So if you have, for example, a farm like a cow farm where you want to farm leather and you have the cows being bred up, you can do it somewhat automatic. Now they do still have the 5-minute timer, so you can't use this to kind of bypass that. And you do still need to obviously input the food into here. For example, as you can see, it has just removed 2 wheat. So, but you can do that with hoppers. If I quickly just grab one of them and place that like, no, that's a cow. And then I place the hopper like so, and I put the wheat in. As you can see, the wheat is actually going into the block. So you can obviously have quite a lot of storage. It can also be inputted from above. So if you want to do it that way, you can. If I quickly just remove some, as you can see, it is being putted. If we now actually try pigs, but they don't breed with wheat, they breed with carrots. So we will have to change the carrots for in there. As you can see, they will look at the block. They will then get hearts, and then they will breed. Now, I don't think it has been updated to work for the sniffer, as I did try to mess with it to see if it does work with like breeding sniffers and with torchflower seeds, and it doesn't seem to. So I don't know if that's something that maybe it's just a longer delay because sniffers are something they don't want to be breedable. But yeah, as you can see, they don't actually care for the block, although it does have torchflower seeds within it. And although I can put torchflower seeds in, that doesn't mean it works, because as you can see, you can put any block within there. But anyway, that is where I'm going to end this video. If you did enjoy, do like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought of the mods in the comments, and I guess I'll see you guys in another one very soon. Once again, all of them will be linked in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.